This meeting is being recorded.
Greetings and a very warm welcome to another episode of GlobalSBM Business Talk. Today we are pleased to welcome Mr. Sabyasachi Mukhopadhyay as our guest speaker. Mr. Sabyasachi is an assistant professor of business analytics in postgraduate management studies at BIMS Kolkata. He is also the Google developer expert in machine learning as well as Intel software innovator. Mr. Sabyasachi is involved in teaching IoT at University of Calcutta as visiting faculty. He has more than 55 publications, which includes patents, books, journals, and proceedings. He was featured in Facebook's special coverage, The Limitless, as one of India's leading innovators and entrepreneurs of 2018, and he has delivered TEDx talks twice. That was a very brief introduction of our speaker, Mr. Sabyasachi. So without any delay, let's hear from the man himself. Mr. Sabyasachi, the floor is all yours.
I believe that I am audible clearly, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So I am thankful to the organizers for inviting me here, especially GlobalSBM and SSM. So I believe that today we are going to discuss on a topic which will be quite interesting for our management students. So the thing is that we are going to check out that how to incubating the innovative ideas. Okay, so for example, whenever any problem occurs in our society, we have certain tendencies like chalta hai, chalta rahega. Most of us complains, but there are very few number of the solvers. So in present scenario, we require the more number of the solvers, because if you see the part of the developing countries like India, nearby 99% people under the bottom of pyramid category. So we should think such a solution which can be deployable for the mass level application purpose. So keeping that on in mind, how should we innovate? And what is the basic difference between innovate and innovation? So that innovation and invention that we require to address. So there is a basic guideline if we check out. Okay, so let us check out that what does that particular guideline is. So for example, if we want to innovate or if we want to invent, then what should we follow? For something existing X, we are finding next. So that is the structure of the idea hexagon which we are going to discuss today. Now you see that which I was discussing just a few minutes back, that very often I have seen that people are being confused with the basic concepts related to the innovator and the inventor. What is the difference between the invention and the innovation? Innovation means it was existing earlier, you are coming up with something new, you are developing something new, you are modifying something new. That is called the invention, whereas the innovation, and whereas the invention means you are doing something out of the box which was not existing at all at earlier stage. So for given X, finding next is our main challenging issue. So how should we innovate? First of all, we will let us check it out. Okay, so you see that there are 6 nodes in the idea hexagon if you see in the screen. So basically our target will be to check out that, try out with each of the options given in that particular node. Okay, whether it is x plus y x to the power d, that means going to higher dimensions, or making coupling between two heterogeneous kind of thing, thinking about out of box, which is x bar. So we will try out different nodes of the idea hexagon. We will try to stimulate our thought process in terms of keeping impact on the billions of lives. Okay, so if we check out, for example, at the first node of the idea hexagon, so giving an x, what is next? So you all know that Clicker is a very good platform for sharing photos. Okay, so what about next? If we go to the higher dimensions, okay, so just before I proceed further with the talk, just want to make confirmation that, can you see the slides moving? Okay, can you see the movement of the slides?
Yes.
I believe. Okay, thank you very much for the confirmation. Okay, thank you very much. So now you see that YouTube is a very good platform for sharing videos. So you know that the valuation of the Flickr, whenever it was sold, that it was sold in few $1 million. But when YouTube was sold, it was sold in multi-billion dollars. So you can see that with going with the higher dimensions, the valuations are increasing. Okay, so if we for example figure it out in the next slide, that whenever at the first node of the idea hexagon x to the power d, given x, finding next, so you will see that generalization of the dimension if we do, So for example, from data to text, text to audio, audio to images, images to video. So we are continuously going towards the higher dimensions. Okay, so for example, you all know that the stereo glasses are very good for watching 3D movies. Okay, so what about the visualizing the 4D? So in this way, we can think about, we can give put a thrust on our thought process, and we can continuously brainstorm that what type of idea we should do, which can keep impact on the billions of lives. If we see the second node of the given x finding next, that is clubbing or making fusion of two dissimilar things or two heterogeneous things. So for example, x plus y, so x and y, this both are the two dissimilar kind of things. If we club them together, we will come up with something which will have the impact on the mass level purpose. Okay, so for example, if we have seen that it is a very common scenario in the part of the developing countries that we often see that narrow lanes. Okay, and due to the narrow lanes, what happens that even in especially in last 2 years, we often have seen the scenarios while picking up the COVID patients, that due to the narrow lanes, ambulances are not being able to penetrate it. Okay, so what about thinking something like that? For example, if we attach the front engine of the auto with the patient carrier side of the ambulances, so whenever you are making fusion of those two dissimilar kind of things, so it will be able to make it facilitate for the large scale purpose. Okay, so the more the things will be dissimilar, the better will be the fusion. So in this way, we may think about something that which can have the mass level benefit. And this particular step number 3 or the node 3, that given a hammer find all the nails, or given or for example, given a nail find all the hammers, this vice versa approach, is that nowadays, for example, this is quite analogy you can do. For example, you all know that the nowadays refrigerators having the computational power. So what about adding computational power to some other stuffs which we don't have so far? Because already we have seen after the arrival of the smartphone from the end of the web 2.0 and web 3.0 era, from 2013 onwards, the smartphones are gradually become the household names. So we have seen that how the quality of the phone has improved with having the app store on them. So what about putting the app store, this kind of the app store concept in other devices, other computing devices? Can we improve the quality of the other computing devices with that kind of the thought process? So these are just a thought process which we may plan of to mass level deployment purpose. Okay, now for example, another interesting scenario which we are going to see, that it's not, by the way, idea hexagon is not about only about limited to technology. You can find it for the other aspects as well. So for example, if we, what about making superior things? So whenever, for example, we make the thing superior, for example, finding a next given x, so that is the name of the innovation, because when something is existing, you are developing it, you are modifying it. So when we modify something, we add up some adjective before that. For example, Fourier transform, when once you make the modification of it, fast Fourier transform. Okay, for example, filtering, when you make the robust filtering process, you call them as adaptive filtering. Okay, computing, distributed computing. So in this way, what we do, clustering, hierarchical clustering. So in this way, what we do, we basically add up some adjectives before those names, and we are coming up with some robust methodologies, robust technologies, which can have the mass level applicability, right? So now another interesting thing which we are going to discuss, that is doing exactly opposite, next equals to x bar. This is the sixth node. This is the very important node, because when all of those strategies, existing 5 strategies are not working out, that means all the existing things are not working out, then we can do something out of box thing. And that is the area where an innovator becomes inventor, because inventor means it was not existing earlier, you have some out of box thought process and you have developed something. So that is the area where an innovator is becoming an inventor. So this is the area which we require to also focus on. So from the idea hexagon, we can see that it's not only help you to ideate, not only helping you to be an innovator, it is also helping you to be an inventor as well. So in the idea hexagon, first five nodes which are guiding you to be an innovator, and the final node where all doors are closed, then you have to do something out of box. That is the area of the inventor. Okay, So that is the overall thought process which we have learned, that given X, what is next? Now the one common questions which will come up, that okay, so this is the ideation stage. Okay, this is how we can do the brainstorming, that what kind of the solutions which we can develop for the mass level deployment purpose, for creating impact on billions of lives. As I have mentioned, that in today's world, you see that across the globe there are, before pandemic it was 80%, now more than 85% people under the bottom of pyramid category, because a lot of people lost their jobs. And during in India, if you see that before pandemic it was 96%, now it was nearby 99% people under the bottom of pyramid category. So being the we belong to a society, we have some responsibility, right? So whatever may be our profession, we can be a scientist, we can be a management professional, we can be a teacher, professor. So it is our social responsibility that whatever little knowledge we have, if we can come up with something which can have the mass level deployability, we should try to adapt it, and we should try to deploy it for the mass level benefit purpose. So let us check out that what kind of the problem should we solve which can have the mass level impact. Okay, so now we are checking out that goal is that what is the problem or solving. So for example, here I have picked up a theme that is digital tech in agriculture. Okay, we'll talk about resource map. Under resource map, we'll talk about people, organizations, user beneficiaries, breakthroughs and risks, then problem canvas, then solution canvas, and finally finding plots. Okay, so in this way, we will make our discussions. But this is the theme we are picking up. Now, you may have some other idea. You may have some striking idea of your domain, like, for example, it can be from the domain of the something interesting related to healthcare, can be related to banking sector or some other sector. So what I will do, I will try to map this particular theme with the digital AI in healthcare domain. So you will get some idea that how to map it, how to do the brainstorming. So you can do it for your own idea as well. So let us check it out. So with the first case, that under the resource map, okay, so for example, people, organizations. Okay, so whenever we are talking about the organizations, we can talk about the, for example, company, startup, government department, data sets and information resources. Like, for example, if you are doing the crop predictions, okay, AI based applications for predicting crops. Okay, so then you require some data sets. Either you can collect the data set by yourself. Okay, if you did it, that is the source of the primary data set collection resources, or you can download it from some certain websites. Okay, because data sets plays a very very vital role. So who can be your partner? So for example, any agricultural organizations who can be your possible partners. Okay, so now if we map the same problem in the domain of the healthcare, okay, so then what will happen if we map the same thing with the healthcare domain? So for example, if you are, for example, you are developing AI based cancer detection solutions. So how can you collect the data? So in that case, either you can convince the doctors, you can collect the data, you can tie up you can sign the IRB protocols that your methodologies are not harmful to the patients. So you can tie up, you can sign the IRB protocol, you can tie up with hospitals, and you can directly collect it, or you can initial level you can download the data from the some secondary resources like from GitHub, from Kaggle, and you can deploy some algorithms, and you can check out that the whether your algorithm is working properly on the data set or not, whether you are getting the proper promising results or not. Then you can approach to the hospitals. Okay, but if you want to develop certain products for the business purpose, for your entrepreneurial venture launching purpose in the healthcare domain, at least you should have the real data sets. Initially you may try out with secondary sources, but primary sources you have to tie up with the hospital. So that's the reason data set and information resources plays a very very vital role. Who will be your possible partners? So in the healthcare domain, if we map the same problem from the agriculture to healthcare domain, then you can understand that hospitals, nursing homes, doctors, everybody will play a very very vital role there. Now people, okay, VCs means venture capitalist. Influentials means you know that even in United States, those doctors who are the multi-billionaires, they invest a lot of money in startups, healthcare related startups, such that if something new things comes up, which for example this AI based technologies are nothing but playing the role of catalyst. Okay, for guiding the doctors. So that's the reason it plays a very those doctors, those domain experts plays a very very important role in influential, as an influential. And if you see the VCs, venture capitalists, whenever you are, I am talking about the Indian market scenario. If we talk about, so 25 lakh to 50 lakh in generally, whenever you are coming up with any company in the seed funder. Okay, this is basically seed funding. Okay, but whenever you are going for the go-to market strategy, whenever you are doing after the successful deployment of the prototype, so in that case, in Indian currency, venture capitalists invest, for example, 5 crore to 10 crore, in a range of 5 crore to 10 crore. So that is the investment venture capitalist does. And obviously, apart from these scenarios, whenever you have your own ideas, you can also check out some known published challenges from the website of the United Nations, the Bill Gates Foundation, or National Science Foundation, NSF, or even in case of the Indian websites, if you check the DBT, DST, Department of Biotechnology, Department of Science and Technology, they always also publish a lot of interesting challenges which you may try it out by yourself. So these are the areas which you should take care of at first. Okay, like your partners, your data set and information resources, people, wishes and influentials. Okay, known published challenges. So these are the very, very vital areas which you should check it out first. Then what we will do, we will check out, then we will talk about the user and beneficiaries. That you have come up with some idea. Now if you want to start your entrepreneurial journey, you have to first figure out that who can be the users and the beneficiaries. So that is very, very important thing. For example, if you are deploying the theme which we have discussed earlier, the digital tech in agriculture, so in that case, who will be the users and what will be the use cases? So for example, a user will be definitely, the farmers will be the user. For example, if you're developing AI based crop prediction solutions, so definitely farmers and other people who are related to farming, they will be benefited from it. Now if you are developing the same thing, if you for the healthcare domain, if you I map the same problem with the healthcare domain, then who will be the users? The patients, doctors, nurses, they will be the users. Okay, so you have to figure out that thing. Already influences factors we have discussed in earlier slide. Okay, we have to figure out that who will be the buyers. Okay, who will be the sponsors, what will be the sponsoring agency. So those things you have to figure out domain wise. Then who can be the possible partners? So for agricultural cases, all the agricultural supporting agencies will be the partners. For healthcare domain, nursing home, hospitals, they will be the possible partners. Why do we need research? That is very, very important thing. That research, it can be in technological angle, it can be in marketing angle. So anything can be possible. Okay, so if you are developing some tech-based products, so you have to check out that what are the new things you are doing, what others have not done it. So that is the tech-related research. Okay, and if or how can we come up with some low cost based solutions which can have the benefit in the BOP level, such that common people can afford it. So that can be your technical angle research. And the market research will be, for example, we may talk about packaging. All of you may are aware about the Indian Institute of Packaging, and they have the offices in Mumbai and Kolkata. Okay, so IIP. So in Indian Institute of Packaging also plays a very, very vital role. They do research on the packaging. So in management, being the people from the management domain, all of you know the packaging plays a very, very vital role. So for example, the packaging will attract the people in the urban area. That type of packaging may not be attractive for the people from the rural or the suburban area. So in the region wise packaging changes. So we already have seen a very, very interesting experiment made by the Parleji. All of you know the Parleji company, which is a biscuit production company. So they made a very interesting strategies for when they have made the packaging for the urban area that was completely different from their packaging from the rural area. So to gain the attraction of the customers, you have to do a lot of research. Okay, so that research can be science technology angle, that research can be market angle, okay, or the management angle. So you have to understand that which area you should do the research, such that you are doing something which will make you separate and which will give you the advantage from the others, right? And speaking with expert is also very, very vital area. That expert can be technology related expert who will give you the guidances that how to come up with something out of box solutions, or maybe modifying something. Okay, that means either you can be an inventor zone, or can be an innovator zone. So that mentor will guide you, provide you the necessary science and technological support. And there can be the mentor who may guide you in the business angle as well. So that person will give you the ideas related to go to market strategies, what are the important marketing strategies you can do such that you can reach the wider audiences. So there can be several kind of the experts. Okay, in generally what they do, they basically take some stake from 1 to 3%. So whenever you are getting the seed funding from the company, so the incubation centers, they may take the stakes around 5% to 8%. For example, the mentor which you will onboard, they may take some stake, for example, on and around 1% to 3%. Okay, so in this way, whenever you will after there will be the founder and co-founder will have some 3 years of lock period. Okay, once they have developed the prototype, after getting the grant, they will plan to launch it for the mass level deployment purpose. So they will look for the go to market strategy. They have to be big enough, so they require funding, so they approach for the venture capitalist. Now venture capitalist fund in crores in Indian currency, 5 crore to 10 crore. So they will take some stakes. So in this way, a lot of stakeholder will come up. And let me tell you, for a successful startup, if you want to take an exit after 5 years, so on an average, we have seen in Indian currency it is 80 crore. Okay, on an average, I'm talking about. So if now the company valuation will reach to 80 crore. So founder and co-founder altogether will have less than 10%. So if I consider that there is a founder and co-founder, when they started, the company valuation was 1 lakh. Okay, they have the share of 50-50. Now, when they are taking the exit after the successful deployment of the startup and everything they have done, I am considering that they have done the successful startup. Now, once they are planning to take exit from the startup after the period of 5 years, okay, they have to give exit to all the investors, for example, venture capitalists, angel investors, other seed funders, okay, mentors. So they will take their exit by taking their own stake. Now, what will happen? They will have the founder and co-founder altogether will have less than 10%. That means, for the sake of our understanding, if we consider that 10% will be 80 crore, 10% will be 8 crore, so we can consider in a round figure 7 crore less than 10%. For example, if we consider that, so if the 7 crore, that means each founder and co-founder will have 3.5 crore INR for each of them. So that means that they have started with 50k INR in each of their stake 5 years back. Now, after this successful startup journey, they all have among themselves 3.5 crore altogether. So that means that kind of the valuation they have generated within this 5 years period of time. So it is I am talking about if they are planning to sold it out. So after they sold it out, they may do the, for example, startup mentoring. They may go for example, may do job the company they have sold out. For example, if some startup X has been sold out to Google, so they may become the employee of the Google. So that type of opportunities are always there for the founder and co-founder, and you can also continue your startup as well. You may not have planned to sold it out. So that is the thing I'm talking about. Okay, I'm trying to give you a holistic picture that how the business grows up. Okay, so now then let us check out from the next case, next scenario, that is the breakthrough benefits and risk factors. So under the resource map, we first discussed about the organizations where we talked about data resources, etc., etc. Then we have talked about the who will be the possible partners. Now we are talking about what are the breakthroughs, risks, and benefits associated with it. Now, if you get the success, then fine. Okay, then you have to figure out that what will be why you are getting the success. How can you strengthen your those points of success more, such that you can keep on your successful journey, you can carry on your successful journey. But if you fail in your business, then what will happen? The risk factor, measuring the risk factor is a very important scenario. Okay, so that's the reason you require to know that what will be the possible reasons of getting fail. It can be financial risk factors, it can be some friction, rules, or biases. So first of all, for example, country wise, region wise, rule varies. You may have seen that a lot of interest nowadays the engineering students. We have seen the very common idea they do with the drones. Okay, they are coming up with some interesting idea of drones. Now you know that, for example, in the country like India, there are certain rules and regulations that drones cannot be given to every people. Okay, apart from the military scenario and all. So even if your idea is very much striking, very much attractive, but you have to abide by the rules of the country, because country wise rule varies. Okay, so you have to check out that whether that kind of the startup formation idea will be striking in that region or not, whether you should not violate any kind of rules and regulations. So that's the reason you have to abide by those rules factors, and definitely executing risk limitations factor may be there. So for example, you are coming up with a product development company, so you may not have the that much of lab support within your team. So that kind of factor you have to check, that how much things you can outsource with low cost, because at the start of your journey you may not have the enough fund in your hand. So you may have to check out that how using the low cost strategies you can achieve those things, or can we partner with some labs. Okay, or in this way we have to figure it out, that what will be the executing risk, what will be the limitations factors. Okay, within whatever that fund has been given to you, is that adequate enough? Can we utilize it within the time? Okay, so that's the reason one of the important strategy that like all the top companies across the globe they follow, and even the top academic institute also, they also follow that kind of strategies. Being the management students, you all should know that that is called as a skills matrix matching. Okay, skills matrix matching. What does it mean? For example, in your team, whenever you are forming a team, you should try that you should in your team you should have the people with diversified skill setup. So for example, in your team, somebody may be very strong in AI, somebody may be very strong in app development, somebody may be very strong in marketing. So whenever these diversified skill setup people are coming together, they can do the miracle, right? So that type of the strategy you should follow. Okay, rather than having the people of the people in your team with the similar kind of skill setup. So what will happen whenever you have the people with heterogeneous skill setup and you are forming the team with the skill matrix matching, whatever the challenging scenario it may come up, that your chances of winning on that situation will be quite higher than having the people with the similar kind of skill setup. So in those cases, what will happen? You don't have to depend on outside people much, or don't have to outsource something much. So that's the reason skill matrix matching plays a very, very vital role in that particular aspect. Okay, and then definitely, which we are going to discuss in the next scenario, that is the problem canvas. So now we have seen that resource mapping has been done. Now in the problem canvas, you see this particular problem canvas has been prepared keeping the digital tech in agriculture in mind. For example, you see the techniques which has been highlighted here, like sensors, AI, crowdsourcing, those factors are there. And what are the problem scenarios which has been highlighted? If you check out that, greenhouses, crop prediction, farmer finances, weather stations. So these are the possible problems which we have to discuss. Now you check out that if these are the problem scenarios, then what will happen if we map the same problem for the domain related to the healthcare? So, for example, techniques related to sensor AI, crowdsourcing, those are there. Now, what will be the scenarios in that case? For example, if you want to develop AI-based cancer detection solution, so what will happen if we know that the biopsy having the accuracy in a moderate level, 65% to 70%. So accuracy is one of the problem. Second problem is it is a very painful treatment. Okay. Third one is the definitely is the cost of the biopsy, because we know that in India scenario or the other developing country, those who are having the high level of the BOP persons, so it becomes very difficult for them to bear those costly treatments. Or even we can talk about, for example, another angle, that is the duration. Okay, for example, it takes 10 to 12 days to come up with the report. So that can be your problem canvas of scenarios. So now we have to check out that whenever we have the problem canvas prepared, now how we are planning to solve them with the help of the solution canvas, such that you can provide some kind of robust solution. So let us check out that how we can do it. For example, here you see that we have designed the solution canvas for the digital tech in agriculture. Now you see that cost, time, and impact has been given there. So whenever you are getting, for example, you are getting some seed funding for developing your prototype. Okay, so now it can be from your incubation center, it can be from some angel investors, they are providing you some seed funding. Now you see that, for example, in Indian scenario, seed funders are generally 25 lakh to 50 lakh. Even the government grants also sometimes are available for those interesting challenges. Now you see that the whole funding will not come all together. So there will be some portion of the funding will be given to you after seeing your satisfactory progress. Next round of the funding you will get. So for example, it may happen that you got some fund of 5 lakh and you have some time of 6 months. You have to showcase some progress. Then the next round of the funding you will get. So once your problem canvas you have designed, so you have to show the scenarios of the solution canvas, that how you are solving those problems. So that's the reason impact column. You can check out the third column is impact column. So cost, given timeline has been given there. For example, 5 lakh INR we have received. You have time of 6 months. You have to showcase some progress. That means that will be shown in the impact region. That what is the impactful solutions you have given with respect to the problem canvas. Okay. Then once your progress is satisfactory, then you will get the next round of the funding. For example, in next round you are getting another 9 lakh INR, and you have given some time like another 6 months. Okay, so in this way, entire funding will be divided into 6 parts within the 3 years period of time. In generally, you have the lock period time. Okay, initial level for the developing prototype. So in generally, you are dealing with the angel investors or incubation centers. So once you develop the successful prototype, you will be get the stat you will get the opportunity to interact with the VCs, venture capitalists. They will give you the fund in crores, such that you can enhance your company's scalability. So that is the scenario. If you see here, we have highlighted the scenarios like greenhouses, sensors, greenhouses, AI, greenhouses, crowd steering, crop predictions, sensors, crop prediction, AI. Now, if we map the same problem for the healthcare domain, which we were discussing, like AI-based cancer detection solution. So, if you are coming up with that type of the scenario, so these columns will remain same cost, time, and impact. And what will be the scenarios there? So, if we map the same problem there, so what will be the scenarios? First of all, you your AI-based approach will give you higher accuracy. For example, you are getting 90 to 95% accuracy now instead of having 65 to 70% accuracy in case of biopsy. Now you are getting the generating the report within few minutes, where you are through your smartphone based application. Now in the earlier case, the general reporting time was 10 to 12 days. For example, it was costlier process earlier. Now your process, for example, if you even charge software as a service in a SaaS model, so per scan you may charge even 10 to 100 rupees INR. Still, it will be thousands times cheaper than the biopsy, right? So low cost, and it is also painless approach rather than the painful approach of biopsy. So in this way, you have to show the solution scenarios in the solution canvas. So I'm just giving you idea. You may have some very very striking ideas in other domains like finance sector, maybe in case of the other interesting sectors. So you can map the same problem the way I am mapping. Okay, and this solution canvas will help you a lot. Okay, now for example, finding plots. Now, like I have always mentioned, that you see that whenever you are starting your journey, entrepreneurial journey of innovations, we always start with philosophy. Okay, because your picture thought process should be very very clear. Then comes science, technology, then comes product development, and finally marketing. Okay, now you see these finding plots will give you the very clear picture. Until or unless you are very much clear from your own side, you will not be able to develop something for the mass level deployment purpose. So that's the reason you see you have the two important factors. One is the cost, and the one is the time. So given cost and time, how you are developing, okay, in overall solution canvas, that can be done with that help of this kind of finding plots. Okay, which will give you the success while coming up with a product for the mass level deployment purpose. Okay, so that's the reason finding plots plays a very very vital role, which will give you a very very clear, very much clear pictures. Now you see the milestones, for which we have discussed so far, like map of users, resource requirements. We have talked about dependencies. We have talked about risk and other workarounds. We have talked about steps and other decision points. So these all are the very, very vital verticals which we have discussed so far. Now you see that this particular slide is very, very important slide related to the Heilmeier questions. Like people worship science, Einstein in science. In technology domain, Heilmeier is being worshipped. Okay, so why these 9 questions are very very important? Because these 9 questions are very much pertinent to develop any meaningful project. So being the management students, you all have to know that when you will manage the projects, okay, you can be you may have the role of this CEO, or some other interesting challenging roles in the management domain, but you have to handle the tech peoples right under you who will work around those areas. Or you may start your own company as well. So in those 9 questions, there's a very very vital role. Okay, so nothing to worry about it. I will definitely email this particular slide to the organizers, so they will definitely share with all of you. Make sure that the 9th question you should follow. That what the first question is, what are you trying to do? Articulate objectives without using jargon. So that means once you can say something without using jargon, that means you are right from the beginning. You are clear from your thought process. Your thought process is clear. Wow, how can people speak without using jargon? That means once they have the very very clear thought process within themselves. Second one is, how is it done today and what are the limitations of the current practice? Okay, that is another important scenario. Okay, you have to understand the where you require to do the research. That is the area it comes up here, because What are the new things you are contributing? That's the reason people will put emphasis on your get in interest on your project or the product. What's new in your approach, and why do you think that it will be successful? What are the new things you are coming up? There is also market research also plays a very very vital role there, including packaging and other things. That what are the new things you are bringing down on board, such that people will get attracted to your product or services. Who cares? That is very very important. Like we all have executed those things during our discussions of the resource map, problem canvas, solution canvas, and finding plots. Okay, so who cares that who will be the users, who will be the beneficiaries? That plays a very very vital role. If you are successful, what kind of the difference you are going to make? So what are the impact you are going to create? That also plays a very very significant role there. What are the risks and payoffs? That is another important point. How much will it cost? Your cost factor is very very important, that such that common people can afford it. Okay, without sacrificing your profit margin. Definitely, whenever you are coming up with something, you require to have some, definitely have some prominent successful model, sustaining model. So you should not, your profit margin should not sacrifice, but you should have something, you should develop something which having the mass level benefits, such that common people can use it. Then how long it will take to develop, that is also very very important thing. You can't wait for infinite period of time, so that should have some legitimate time, such that other people can use it. And what are the midterm and final exam to check for success? Like all of you know, for example, if you are developing some app, okay, so there are phases like alpha testing phase, beta testing phase. So in alpha testing phase, company people, within core, some core people in the company, they basically test it, and they then allow it to go for the beta testing. And beta testing, some external volunteers also check out it, and once the beta testing phase it got the success, then you go it for the mass level deployment purpose. So in the healthcare domain, for example, you can do the same thing. For example, in the medical board, those who are the doctors who are having the medical board, their internal board will check it first. For example, if you are developing some healthcare product, then what will happen? Then they will allow some external volunteer to monitor it for the beta testing phase. And once you got the success, then it will be allowable to deploy it for the mass level purpose. So these are the basically being considered as the midterm and the final exam to check out for the success. Now let us talk about the lean canvas. So already we have, you can see that the problem canvas, solution canvas, key matrices, uh, those things we have discussed. Now unique value proposition, or the customer segments, or the revenue streams, these we are going to discuss in upcoming slides. So for example, this is one of the product has been developed by my startup, okay, which has been recently sold out. So that is the smartphone based cancer and DME, that means diabetic macular edema detection solutions we have developed. So basically, you see that what are the impact we have created on the BOP level. So you can showcase the impacts. Okay, like I have highlighted that within the given fund, what are the outcomes you are giving, how you are generating the impact. So it plays a very very vital role. Like for example, in the first solutions, you can talk about the pain-free early stage cancer diagnosis and low-cost portable device, generating report within 2 minutes, where biopsy takes several days of time. Third solution is all about, okay, automatic solutions and highly efficient. And you can check out this unique selling proposition. That is a very very vital area whenever you are pitching up in front of the investors. So this plays a very very vital role. The replacing painful and cost effective biopsy, 100 times cheaper than biopsy and accuracy greater than 95%, portable, lightweight, and 80 times faster than biopsy. So these are the unique selling proposition. This plays a very very significant role while highlighting the unique selling proposition. Okay, and then definitely the business model. So for example, if you are developing the B2B product for the ophthalmologist, pathologist, so per scan you can charge, for example, SaaS model, software as a service, rupees 110 to 100 per scan. Still it will be thousands times cheaper than the biopsy. You can sell the device once at a time. Okay, that is another strategy. So you have to figure out that how, what will be your strategies, growth strategy you have to highlight. For example, all of you know that AI algorithm does well. Once you have the more you will have the higher, the more you will increase the training data set, the more it will give you the better predictions. So that's the reason ongoing clinical trials is very very important from the hospitals. So that is in the healthcare domain. I am highlighting it. In your domain you can figure it out. So doctors collaboration, revenue model sharing should be there, such that doctors are also remain interested in your product. So that can be the growth strategies. That is a very very important slide. And then competitive landscape is very very important of your product. So for example, you can highlight few of the key features of your product. What are the new things you are giving, which your competitors are not giving? Like for example, you can talk about low cost, accuracy, smart device, data driven, cloud based. So these are the verticals you are supporting. where others are unable to support. So that's the reason competitive landscape also plays a very, very vital role in that angle. Okay, so these are the few media reports which has been highlighted our success of the providing the new technique for early detection of human eye diseases. We are the first group across the globe who developed this kind of solutions for the early stage diagnosis of the eye diseases like diabetic macular edema or diabetic retinopathy. So these are the in TV newses, for example, G News or the Odisha TV. These are the leading news channels of India. And for example, our success also has been highlighted in top newspapers like the Hindu Business Standard, Indian Express, Economic Times. These are the leading newspapers in India. Okay, and also our cancer research success we also has been highlighted in the leading newspapers like the Hindu Business Standard, Indian Express, Analytics India Magazine, Nature India. And also I'm very glad to mention that our cancer research success has been included in the toughest exam of India, IAS, UPSC exams in their current affairs sections. Okay, we were the first runner-up of the MIT NASA hackathon as well in 2017 with that product. Also, I got the special honorary mention in the Embassy of India to Switzerland, so for this cancer research success. And these are my social media handle where you can join me and you can definitely get, if you require any guidances or support, you can also contact me there. So thank you all for your patience. And also I want to highlight my share my email ID in your comment box section, such that if anybody requires any help, they can also contact me anytime. Just a second, let me share my email ID there. I will definitely share the slide with the organizers such that all of the students can take the benefit of it.